Hi, my name's Ashley McKenzie, and I'm a missionary in Madrid, Spain. There in Spain, only about 1% of the people there know Jesus. So I often think of this story that Jesus told about a shepherd who had 100 sheep, and 99 of them were right there with him, but one got lost. So that shepherd left the 99 and went after the one to find them. In Spain, the opposite of that parable could be true. For every one person that knows Jesus, there are 99 who don't. So it would be like that shepherd leaving the one to go after the 99. So I wanted to share just a few testimonies with you today of what God has done in the past, what we've seen him do in the lives of people, going after that one person who needed him. The first person's name is Jose, and Jose is a guy from Spain in about his mid-20s, and he was just walking down the sidewalk one day and happened to be in front of our church while we were having a prayer meeting inside. He had never been in a church before and didn't realize that that's what he was walking into. But he walked through the doors and looked around and he said, "What is this place?" And so we told him, "It's a church and we're having a time of prayer. If you would like to join us, you're welcome." And he said, "Well, I've never been in a church before." And we said, "That's okay, go ahead and stay." And so he stayed for the prayer meeting, and during that he heard the gospel for the very first time in his life. And through tears, he gave his heart to Jesus, just surrendered his life right there. And afterward, he looked up and he told us, "I was on my way home tonight to take my own life, but now I'm leaving with hope." So another story that I wanted to share is of Ramona. Ramona was from Romania, and we met her in the red light district there in Madrid. She had been trafficked, sold by her own family into prostitution. And so we met her, and she was watched really closely by guards there, so she wasn't free to leave the red light district or the area that she lived in there. And so we met her, though, shared the gospel with her right on the street, and she gave her heart to Jesus. Well, a few weeks later, she was still, praying and getting to know Jesus. We were trying to disciple her as much as we could without her being able to leave very often from the red light district. And one day we went out for outreach, and we had made tiaras for the ladies and little adoption certificates. And we said, we just want to show you that you're invited to be a daughter of God. You're invited to be adopted into his family, and you're royalty. Well, when we got to Ramona, we shared the same with her, and we gave her a tiara and her adoption certificate. And we said, "Actually, you've already made that decision. You're part of the family of God." And so it was a really great night at outreach. And I went home, and the next day I got a phone call, and it was from Ramona. And she said, "I'm ready to leave. Can you help me get out?" And I said, "Yes, I can help you. I can help you get to a safe place." And so she said, "I'm in an apartment building and I can't leave. I'm being watched. And so if I try to leave, they're going to hurt me. There are 2 men guarding the door downstairs." And I said, "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pray to God, who is your Father, and believe that he's going to make a way for you to leave." So I called a taxi to go and pick her up, let the taxi driver know where to take her to. And I said, "Okay, pack your stuff." And so she gathered the few belongings that she had, and we prayed. And when the taxi got there, I said, "All right, the taxi's downstairs. You need to head down." As she was walking down the stairs of that apartment building, the 2 guards who were downstairs just got up and walked away. We don't know what made them walk away, but we believe God did something to protect Ramona. So she got into that cab, and we took her to a safe place. And as we were checking her in for that safe house, the leader of the safe house asked her, "Why now? Why are you so courageous in this moment to try to leave when before you were too scared to try to leave? And we understand why you would be scared." And she reached in her purse and she pulled out that tiara and her adoption certificate. And she said, "My family sold me into prostitution when I was young. So I considered myself an orphan even though my parents are still alive." She said, "But I realized if God is my Father, then he would protect me and he wouldn't want to leave me in such a bad situation. So it gave me the courage knowing that God was my Father and you guys are my family to be able to leave the situation." So Ramona has been in that safe place now for over a year. She's been baptized, filled with the Holy Spirit, has a job now, and she's getting ready to have her own place and start a brand new life. The last story that I wanted to share with you is about a woman named Miriam. Miriam is from Morocco, and she came to one of our baking classes that we did for the community. And so she came, and we were making Cookie Monster cakes of all things, and she just absolutely loved the baking and cake decorating class. So after I finished teaching the class, I said, "Anybody who wants to stay for a Bible study is welcome to." Now, Miriam was there in her traditional Muslim clothing, and she was from a Muslim background, and so I really didn't expect her to want to stay for a Bible study. But Miriam said, yeah, I want to come. And so she came on down and she stayed and listened to the Bible study. And as I shared the gospel, she just began weeping. And afterwards she said, I want to know more about what you were talking about. And I said, well, we have church tomorrow. If you'd like to come to church, you're welcome to join us. Well, she agreed and came to church the next day. During that service, she heard the gospel again, and really the Holy Spirit started working in her heart and gave her that understanding of what it meant to follow Jesus. So at the end of that service, she came down to the altar and said, I'm ready to follow Jesus. How I've spent my whole life trying to be good enough, hoping I would have a chance to get into heaven. But now I know through Jesus, I can be sure that when I die, I can go to heaven and be with him. So thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to these testimonies of what Jesus has done in the lives of just some of the people in Spain, the times he has gone after that one lost sheep. I thank you for sending me and being part of the team that helps me get to Spain and share the gospel with those who need Jesus.